to be here. The air feels too still, the light slightly off, as if reality itself is holding its breath. Somewhere beneath the surface of the world you thought you knew, something ancient is stirring. Some truths were buried by time, others were buried on purpose. You've seen the headlines. Maybe you've laughed off the stories. A room inside the Great Pyramid that no one can reach. A sound from the bottom of the sea that no creature should be able to make. A girl with green skin who claimed she wasn't from Earth. But now, you're not just reading about them, you're stepping in. This isn't just a tour through unsolved mysteries. It's a descent into locked chambers, long-forgotten signals, whispers from beneath the ice. You will be there. You will see what no one else has, and sometimes you will wish you hadn't. Each mystery you encounter is real, documented, studied, yet still unexplainable. Are they remnants of lost civilizations? Glitches in time? Proof we are not alone. Tonight you become the witness, and once you've seen the truth, you cannot unsee it. The Tarkan dress. The 5,000-year-old memory. You step into the archive room beneath the Petrie Museum in London, your breath caught somewhere between reverence and unease. The lights hum overhead, casting a sterile glow over metal shelves and sealed archival boxes. The room is chilled not just to preserve the artifacts, but to remind you that time lives here differently. You've been granted access to a specimen few ever touch: the Tarkan dress, the oldest known woven garment on Earth, carbon dated to around 3000 BCE. The fabric outlived empires, pharaohs, even written language. But that's not why you're here. Last week, a museum technician ran a spectral scan on the dress and found something embedded in the weave fibers that didn't match any known restoration efforts arranged in a pattern not previously cataloged. They think it's a mistake. You're here to confirm it, but you already suspect otherwise. You unseal the protective case and see the linen gown, paper thin in places, delicate and silent, as a whisper from the deep past. You position it under the multispectral imager. At first, nothing. Then lines emerge, faint but deliberate, like veins beneath skin. Not thread, not staining, not even damage. The fibers form a pattern, repeating, spiraling, purposeful. You recognize the structure, a mirrored sequence found carved onto the walls of a pre-dynastic tomb near Saqqara, one still sealed when it was discovered. Scholars dismissed it as decoration, but here it is again on a garment worn by someone long before hieroglyphs even existed. You reach out. You tell yourself it's harmless, but your fingers hesitate just before contact, then linen against skin. The moment you touch it, the room falls away. The fluorescent buzz vanishes. The light shifts. It's warmer, harsher. You're standing in blinding desert sun. Before you, a woman, tall, bronze-skinned, wearing the same garment, pristine and shimmering, not aged but new. She doesn't move. She only looks at you, not with fear, not with awe, with recognition, with accusation. Her mouth doesn't move, but you hear something. You hear your name. You blink, you're back. The lab lights flicker violently. Your heart races. A colleague asks if you're okay. You nod unconvincingly. You don't mention the sand in your mouth, or the fact that the dress feels heavier in its box. Later that night, you review the surveillance footage. At the moment the lights flickered, something changed. The image on screen shows you sitting still, staring ahead, but the dress is no longer on the table. It's on you, draped across your shoulders, worn. You check the logs. No tampering, no edit, no explanation. You dig deeper into forgotten texts and find scattered whispers of ritual garments, clothing woven with deliberate intent to trap fragments of identity used in ceremonies not meant to be remembered. Some scholars called it spiritual containment, others soul binding. One theory, long dismissed, now makes sense in a way that terrifies you. The dress was not made for beauty, not even for burial. It was made to hold someone, a vessel, and you opened it. That night you dream of her face again, her voice inside your head, cold and ancient. You wore me, now I wear you. In the morning the dress is gone. The Devil's Kettle, the river that swallows time. You find yourself in the heart of Judge C.R. Magny State Park, Minnesota. It's colder than you expected for late September, and the mist rolling off the Brule River clings to your clothes like memory. The roar of the waterfall ahead grows louder with every step, not chaotic, rhythmic like breathing. You're not here for the scenery. You've been sent to observe what dozens of hydrologists, geologists, and curious thrill seekers have tried to explain and failed: the Devil's Kettle. A place where half of a river, an entire cascade of rushing water, disappears into a hole in the earth and never comes out. You reach the overlook and there it is. Water crashes down in two paths. One follows gravity and joins the river below. The other vanishes into a churning stone pit on the left, as if the earth opens its mouth and drinks it whole. No one knows where it goes. Dyes, ping pong balls, even GPS-tracked devices have been dropped in. None have ever been recovered. You're here with something different, a high-frequency data recorder, with multiple ping relays designed to withstand submersion and crush depth. You attach a beacon arm to the recorder and drop it into the kettle. The device disappears instantly. You watch the readout on your tablet, waiting for the signal to bounce back. 10 seconds, 20, 1 minute, nothing. Then something pings back. But it doesn't match the signal you sent. It's slower, fragmented. Then a line of text appears on the tablet, a simple string of numbers, a timestamp. Not one you recognize. You open your settings to cross-reference. The timestamp matches a file on your personal hard drive, a recording you made years ago and never uploaded. Private, never synced. A field note you dictated during a failed expedition in Iceland, abandoned due to an injury. There's no way this device should have access to that file. You stare at the screen. The next line comes in a voice sample. It's you, but not the version of you sitting here. It's you years ago whispering something to yourself in the dark. Don't turn around. The sound of rushing water intensifies. You back away from the edge, shaken, but something makes you stop. The river? It's changed pitch. It's humming, not natural, almost musical. You realize it's humming the tone from the timestamp file, a frequency you had once recorded but never shared. Later in the park's remote lab station, you attempt to retrieve the signal log from the device, only to find the file is gone. Replaced by one line of text glowing softly on the screen: it heard you. That night, the river speaks again. It says your name, and in your dreams you fall endlessly into a stone throat deeper than time, with no sound except the slow, steady pulse of something waiting at the bottom. The Baigong Pipes, the structure beneath the stone. You arrive at Mount Baigong under a sky the color of old iron. The plateau stretches barren in all directions, an expanse of red dust and jagged rock. There's no wind, no birds, not even the soft whistle of sand across stone, only silence thick and complete. Your guide left hours ago uneasy about staying past dusk. Now, you stand alone before a limestone hill pockmarked by strange rust-colored tubes embedded deep into the rock like veins. Some are as wide as your wrist, others no thicker than a pencil. They twist into the mountain's core, branching and intersecting like an engineered system. But there's no construction site, no blueprints, and no explanation. The pipes were first reported decades ago. Geologists speculated natural iron formation, but they couldn't explain the uniform diameters, the 90-degree angles, or why a chemical analysis found traces of silicon dioxide not typical of local geology. You're here with a non-invasive probe, a drone designed to map underground mineral pathways. The locals believe this place is cursed. They call it a place where the earth remembers what it wasn't supposed to. You kneel at one of the pipe openings, attach the sensor pod, and release the drone. It hums as it disappears into the darkness. The readout begins to populate smooth walls, equidistant junctions, heat signatures too regular for nature. Then something else, a rhythm, faint but repeating, not seismic, not mechanical, pulsing. You increase audio sensitivity. It sounds almost like breathing. The drone's feed glitches. For a split second, you see something, a movement too deliberate to be wind, a turn, a shadow. Then the video cuts to black. The telemetry freezes. You attempt a manual override, but the command won't send. The drone responds with a single file transfer and image. It's a symbol etched into the tunnel wall. Circular, layered, familiar. You've seen it before, carved into a megalith in Pumapunku, Bolivia, thousands of miles away. Entirely different cultures, supposedly no connection, yet the design is identical. The heat signature around the drone begins to spike. Your equipment registers a sudden burst of energy like something awakening. The drone feed comes back for half a second. This time there's sound, not echo, not static, but language. Deep, slow syllables structured like speech, yet impossible to place. You can't make out the words, but you feel them, like pressure behind your eyes. Then silence again. You retrieve the drone or what's left of it. The casing is intact, but the internals are scorched. No source of heat, no radiation, just residue, crystalline, greenish, pulsing faintly when held under UV light. Material not found in any known alloy. Later, you cross-reference the sound frequency. It's a near match to one detected beneath Antarctica's ice shelf last year, a signal still officially unacknowledged. Some believe the pipes are natural, others claim they're ancient infrastructure. But one theory long dismissed rises to the surface, that they were not meant to carry water or gas, but signal, message conduits, antennas for something buried deeper than anyone dares to dig. When you close your eyes that night, you hear it again, that low, slow breath from beneath the stone. Not nature, not accident, listening. The singing statues, a voice at dawn. You arrive in Luxor just before sunrise. The air still cool, the horizon blushing with pale gold. The city is quiet, hushed in that strange space between night and morning. You're not here for the temples or the Nile. You're here for something no one believes anymore, a voice that once sang to the sun. The locals call them statues, colossi, but they were never just stone. Towering 60 feet high, the twin figures sit solemnly in the Theban desert, guarding the mortuary temple of Amenhotep III. For centuries, travelers swore they heard one of them sing a high melodic tone at dawn, always from the northern figure. Then, in 27 BCE, after an earthquake cracked its base, the sound began. When Rome restored it years later, the voice fell silent forever, or so the records say. You step closer to the colossi of Memnon. They are still impossibly massive, their faces eroded by wind and time, but somehow watching. You were granted access because last week, a tourist left a recorder running overnight. What it captured just before sunrise was not wind, not wildlife, not man-made. It was song, not music, just a single tone, pure, rising in frequency, like someone breathing into stone. You set your own equipment beside the base, calibrating for ultra-low resonance. There's no breeze, no footsteps, no movement at all. You sit and wait, and then as the sun rises, it begins. A soft hum, deep and distant, like it's not coming from the statue, but through it. The ground under you tightens. The frequency rises slightly, forming a second overtone, then another. For just 10 seconds, there's harmony. You hear 3 tones, not one. They weave, shimmer, and vanish as quickly as they came. Your hands tremble as you replay the recording. The device confirms what your ears couldn't: 3 distinct frequency signatures, each separated by exactly 137.5 Hz, the same number repeatedly encoded in ancient Egyptian geometry, linked to sacred proportion and cosmic structure. That spacing doesn't occur naturally. Someone designed it. You run a resonance map of the statue's internal structure. The software reveals cavities, not cracks, but chambers. Deliberate voids. They form a spiral descending through the stone, aligning with the statue's mouth, throat, chest, as if it was built to vocalize. And then you see it. Inside the lowest chamber, something reflective, something that pulses faintly. You can't reach it, but it's there, waiting. You report the findings to the site director. He listens in silence, then deletes the file and says nothing. He only looks at you and says, "You weren't supposed to hear that." That night, you wake to a sound, faint, beautiful, coming from inside your hotel wall. You press your ear to the plaster, and it sings to you the exact same tone. You check your recorder, it never activated. Some say it was a geological quirk. Others claim condensation pressure, even birds. But there's a forgotten theory carved into the temple ruins nearby that the statues were built to speak not to humans, but to the sky. A beacon, a ritual, a conversation between stone and star. As you leave Luxor, the song follows you, soft, inescapable. And now sometimes, when you speak, your voice doesn't sound like your own. The green children, the ones who didn't belong. You're sitting in a stone church in Suffolk, England. The air thick with incense and age. The pews are empty, the sun filtering in through centuries-old stained glass, casting strange colors on your notebook. You came to Woolpit to research a local folk tale, a 12th century account dismissed by most historians. 2 children, a boy and a girl, found near a wolf trap just outside the village. Skin green as moss, clothes woven from no known fabric, eyes that didn't focus right. They spoke in a language no one could understand. And when they finally did learn English, they said they came from a place without a sun, a land of permanent twilight called St. Martin's Land. The boy died. The girl stayed, grew up, married, disappeared, no records after that. But then you found something strange in the parish archives, a 19th century letter describing a second sighting. A girl with green-tinted skin had been seen wandering the edge of the woods, humming an unfamiliar tune. The handwriting on the report trembles, the ink smeared like the writer was afraid to finish. No one ever followed up. You decide to visit the edge of that same forest. Just past the fields, the path narrows into overgrowth. Everything is quiet, too quiet. Even the birds seem to avoid this stretch. There's a sudden shift in air pressure, like walking into a vacuum. You turn around and she's there. A child, alone. Her skin isn't green exactly, it's more wrong, off hue. Her eyes shimmer slightly like light bends around them. She doesn't speak, just stares. You ask if she's lost. She shakes her head. You ask her name. She hums instead the same melody described in the old letter. Then just before she turns to leave, she says something in the language your ears recognize but your mind can't translate. You blink and she's gone. Back in your room, you play back the audio from your field recorder. The girl's voice is there, faint yes but present. You run it through translation software. Nothing. Then you try something different. You reverse the waveform. Isolate the hum. The pitch distribution matches a pattern once detected in cosmic background, radiation from a specific patch of sky. Radio telescopes still argue over. You trace the coordinates. They point to a star system with no known planets, no exoplanetary debris, just darkness. That night you wake to find your window open. Cold air creeps in, though you remember locking it. On the sill is a small object, a scrap of cloth, woven in a pattern you've never seen, but which matches the one described in a medieval drawing from the Woolpit records. Green thread braided with silver. You bring it to a lab for analysis. The result comes back days later. The fibers don't match any terrestrial plant or synthetic material. The silver isn't silver. It's something else entirely. Atomic structure unfamiliar, stable, but not from here. Some say the children were diseased, malnourished, imagination and superstition twisted by time. Others believe they slipped through a tear in the world, a rift between dimensions. But one theory you can't shake: they weren't lost. They were scouting, and one of them never left. The hum, what only you can hear. It starts on your second night in Taos, New Mexico. You're lying in bed at the edge of town, the desert air dry against your skin, the stars outside sharp enough to cut. And then you hear it, a low hum. Not loud, not painful, just there, like an idling engine far away deep under the ground. You sit up. The fan is off. The air conditioner hasn't kicked in. You unplug your phone. The sound doesn't stop. You step outside. It follows. They warned you about this. Or maybe they didn't, not directly. Locals never mention it unless you ask the right way. The hum, they call it. A constant droning frequency only some people can hear. Scientists have studied it. No source ever found. Some blame tinnitus. Others say it's psychological. But here you are, and it's real. And you can hear it. You drive out to an old observation station just west of town, a place researchers once used to test seismic vibrations underground. It's abandoned now, but you still have the access code. Inside the walls are thick, soundproofed, lined with insulation. You sit in the central chamber completely still, no light, no wind, and yet it hums louder. You start recording. The waveform appears flat, silent, but your body knows better. Your vision swims slightly, your pulse slows, the air feels heavier. You check the sensors, nothing, absolute silence. Then the feed jumps. One frame, just one, a single flash of interference. And in it a figure standing behind you. You spin. Nothing. You scrub the video frame by frame. There's no glitch, no visual compression. The frame is genuine. You isolate the frequency. It's steady at 56 Hz, well within human hearing, but it's modulated, layered. When you amplify and stretch it, you find a secondary signal buried in the wave. It's a voice, mechanical, garbled, but structured. You run it through a filter. 4 words emerge. Not all should hear. The next day you wake up with blood on your pillow. Your ears aren't injured. Your hearing hasn't changed. But the hum is louder, more defined. Now you can feel it behind your eyes. You try leaving town. The hum follows. You try sleeping with noise-canceling headphones. The hum bleeds through. You speak to a retired geophysicist who studied the hum in the 90s. When you mention the frequency, he goes quiet, then says, "That's not geological." You ask what it is. He says, "It's an invitation or a warning." I stop trying to tell the difference. You go back to the lab one last time. You isolate the frequency again, run it through a spectrogram. A shape forms, not a waveform, but a pattern. It matches cave etchings found in 3 locations: New Mexico, Siberia, and beneath the ocean floor near Guam. Thousands of years apart. Same design. Some think the hum is a trick of the mind, a symptom, a coincidence. But deep down you understand. It isn't just a sound. It's someone or something trying to see who's listening. And now it knows you are. The Roan of Hell. The well that listens back. You arrive at the edge of the Kola Peninsula in Russia. The air brittle with cold and salt. The road ends in broken asphalt and rusted fences, a forgotten boundary around what was once the deepest man-made hole on Earth. The Kola Super Deep Borehole, a project abandoned decades ago, buried under ice conspiracy and a strange kind of silence. The borehole descends over 12 kilometers into the Earth, but no one talks about what they found or what found them. Officially, drilling stopped because of high temperatures and unexpected rock behavior. Unofficially, you've seen the classified notes. You're not supposed to be here, but you've come to verify a recording, one never released to the public. A field engineer you met in Norway, drunk, tired, scared, slipped you a drive. No context, just a folder labeled B13, Final. You set up your listening equipment in the remains of the operations shack directly above the sealed borehole. The cover plate is solid steel welded shut, but the air around it vibrates, low, subtle, as if the earth itself is murmuring. You play the recording. It starts as static wind maybe, then voices, distant, chaotic, dozens of them, screaming, not with fear, with pain. The audio spikes, distorts. You pause it. You feel sick. You rewind, isolate the waveform. Some parts repeat not natural echoes, but patterns. Language. You run it through a spectral filter. And one word becomes clear, your name. You freeze. That name was never part of any file metadata. It was never spoken aloud. Yet there it is, clear as breath on your neck. You shut off the equipment. The room still hums. You try to rationalize. Acoustic anomalies, old interference, but the feeling doesn't leave. A pressure in your skull. You return to the plate and press your palm to the steel. It's cold, then suddenly warm, pulsing, not mechanical, organic. You pull your hand back and see something impossible: condensation. On the outside, from below, like breath rising from within. You leave. You say nothing. You tell yourself it was interference, suggestion, nerves. But 3 days later, back home, you find the recording again. You didn't bring it. The flash drive is gone. It's just there on your desktop, labeled replay. You hesitate, then you listen. This time it's different. One voice, singular, calm. It speaks in Russian. You translate. You heard us. Now we hear you. Later you learn something that turns your stomach. That same phrase was carved in ancient script into a burial chamber in Derinkuyu, Turkey. A site thousands of years old, on the opposite side of the planet. Some say the Kola borehole was a scientific marvel. Others call it the gate to hell, a joke, a myth. But something was down there, something that spoke. And when you listened, it noticed. Now when you close your eyes, the screaming returns, but only at night, only when the world is quiet. And it's always followed by the sound of metal bending from the inside. The bloop. The sound that shouldn't exist. You're floating 50 nautical miles off the southern tip of Chile, on board an unmanned research vessel operated by NOAA. It's dark, freezing, and absolutely still, the kind of stillness that doesn't feel natural. You're here for one reason: to recreate a sound that should never have existed. A sound recorded just once back in '97, detected by multiple hydrophones across thousands of kilometers. A sound so powerful some experts believed it came from a living creature, one larger than anything that's ever lived on Earth. They called it the bloop. Official reports blamed ice calving, shifting glaciers, maybe volcanic activity, but you've read the raw data. The bloop didn't echo like a geological event. It didn't behave like tectonic resonance. It had pitch, structure, intention. And most importantly, it came from a location where no human had ever been. You lower the deep sea array, a calibrated underwater speaker, designed to play back the original bloop recording into the depths. You hit transmit. The ocean absorbs the sound instantly, like a breath drawn in. You wait. At first there's nothing, just the soft churn of current and the ship's distant creaking. Then the hydrophone picks something up. A low rumble, not playback, a response. The pattern is distorted but rhythmic. 5 pulses, then silence. You double check. The reply doesn't match the original signal. It's new, it's live. The sonar displays a faint return from below something massive, at least the size of a battleship. approaching slowly from the Mariana Fracture Zone. No active submersibles are in the region, no tagged marine life that size. You record everything, the pulses repeat, this time closer, louder. The pressure inside the cabin shifts as if the water itself is compressing. Then the hull groans. You kill the transmission and pull the array. It drips seawater that smells wrong, too sweet, faintly metallic. You run a test. The water contains organic material, but no cells. Just fragments of DNA. None match any known species. Not bacteria, not fish, not mammal, something older, something that shouldn't still be here. You isolate the incoming signal's waveform. Infrasound just below human hearing. But when you slow it down, stretch the data, it becomes musical. Not a melody, more like a call. An ancient aching note that vibrates in your bones. Your vision blurs. You feel heat, but the thermometer drops. You hear it again, not from the equipment, from the ocean itself. You stare out at the black waves. No lights, no movement. And then bubbles. The surface churns in a perfect circle beside the ship. Something brushes the hull, not violently, just enough to be known. Then it's gone. The sonar goes silent. The signal disappears. The ocean returns to sleep. You try to file your report. Your access is revoked. The logs are erased. A senior NOAA official tells you it was a thermal anomaly. Let it go. But a month later, a second bloop is recorded, this time in the Arctic. Exactly the same structure, and embedded in the waveform is something new, a voice deeper than sound, saying one word in a language you've never heard, but somehow understand. Again. The wow signal, a message that wasn't meant for us. You sit alone inside the control room of the abandoned Big Ear radio telescope in Ohio. The building smells like rust paper and dust that hasn't been disturbed in decades. The consoles are dark. The main dish outside has long been dismantled. But you're not here to listen, you're here to replay. The signal was received once, just once. August 15th, 1907, a narrowband radio signal at 1420 MUT, strong, clean, originating from the constellation Sagittarius. It lasted 72 seconds, no follow-up, no repetition, just a handwritten note from an astronomer circling the printout and writing one word in red pen. Wow, you've brought your own receiver, calibrated sensitive, tuned to the exact same frequency, a relic trying to speak to a ghost. You start the playback, not the original signal, it was lost, but a digitally reconstructed waveform recreated from the surviving data. You let it run. The air feels heavy. The silence in the room feels crowded. Minutes pass, then the static shifts. You glance at the monitor. Something's changed. The wave isn't echoing, it's bending, responding. A soft chirp, then a pause. Another, then a burst. Your software flags it as a pattern, not natural, structured, intelligent. But the source isn't from space, it's coming from your local buffer. You isolate the playback path. Impossible. The signal is not being received. It's being reflected from within your own system, as if the device remembers something it was never exposed to. You open the raw data folder. A new file appears. Unnamed, no metadata, you play it. It's your voice. But not now, a recording of you from 2 years ago. You recognize the inflection, the way you pause mid-sentence. But you never recorded this. You never spoke those words in front of any active equipment. The sentence is incomplete. If you're hearing this, it means, and then silence. The room dims, not the light, the color. Everything takes on a washed gray tone. You blink, rub your eyes, but it doesn't change. The speakers hiss softly, then a voice. Not yours, not human. Low, resonant, but soft, gentle. The words come slowly, as if through a translator that barely understands. You echoed back. We heard. You are not alone. You were not meant to know. You disconnect everything. Shut it all down. But the voice continues faintly. Not in the room. In your head. Later, you try to reproduce the event. Same equipment, same settings. Nothing. The signal never returns. But the file remains. A loop that plays every 72 seconds, the exact duration of the original WOW signal. You run a final test. Spectrogram analysis of the new waveform reveals something uncanny, a symbol, curved, layered, not random. It matches markings found on a fragment recovered from a 10,000-year-old crash site in Siberia. One labeled by Russian officials simply unidentified script, language level unknown. Some say the WOW signal was interference, an accident, a cosmic glitch. But now you know it wasn't meant for us, and you weren't meant to answer. The Black Knight satellite, the watcher above. You're stationed at a private orbital tracking facility in Norway, surrounded by nothing but snow antennas and sky. It's 3:42 a.m. The sky is crystal clear, and above you hundreds of objects orbit in silence, some human, most cataloged, many forgotten. But one is neither human nor cataloged. It doesn't transmit. It doesn't respond. It drifts. Always in a low polar orbit following no commercial path, no known launch trajectory. The military won't speak about it. NASA pretends it's space debris, but it's always there. The Black Knight. You've seen the old photos, a strange angular silhouette captured during the STS-88 mission. NASA said it was thermal insulation, but the angles are wrong. The geometry too deliberate. You track it now. It's moving faster than it should, as if adjusting ever so slightly. Your instruments detect a brief shift in trajectory, too controlled to be natural. You switch to passive listening. No signal, just static. Then your console blinks. One transmission, short, low frequency, encrypted. You don't recognize the protocol. You isolate it, convert it into waveform data. Nothing intelligible. You slow it down, stretch it, filter the distortion, and you hear something impossible. Your own voice, speaking words you've never said. The message is brief. You are seen, you are known, do not look again. You check the logs. The recording didn't come from space. It originated from your own satellite buffer, which was disconnected, air-gapped. The message had no point of entry. You begin to feel watched. The air shifts. The temperature in the room drops 3 degrees in 10 seconds. The overhead lights flicker once. Then the screen flashes. A series of symbols, shapes arranged in threes, similar to ones etched into Neolithic stone in northern Scotland and again found carved into cave walls in the Amazon basin. Cultures that never connected, patterns that never fade. The data is overwritten, your systems crash. You reboot in silence. When everything returns, the object is gone. Not out of range, gone. No trace in orbital data, no debris. Just absence. You report the anomaly. They tell you to log it as a solar flare artifact. You know it wasn't. The next day you wake up with a mark on your wrist. Faint, circular, almost like a burn, but cold to the touch. You try to scan it. Your biometric scanner glitches. For a full 3 seconds, your own reflection on the screen does not move. Later, when you close your eyes, you see the object again suspended in orbit, blacker than the void around it, staring back. It doesn't speak. It listens. Some say the Black Knight is a myth, space junk, a glitch in early radar. But others deep inside old government archives speak of it differently. They call it a sentinel, a watcher, a recorder, a mirror. It's been there for thousands of years, waiting. And tonight it looked directly at you. The man from Tard, the country that never existed. You stand in the arrivals hall at Haneda Airport in Tokyo, watching as a line of passengers shuffles through customs. The air is thick with fluorescent light and the faint scent of jet fuel. You're here on behalf of an interagency program reviewing anomalies in biometric data. Flight 451 from Europe landed 20 minutes ago. Everyone checked out except one. They brought you to examine his passport. You hold it in your hands now. It looks real, professionally printed. No smudges, no errors. The man is calm, cooperative, middle-aged, well-dressed in a gray tailored suit, fluent in Japanese, French, and English. His paperwork is in order: visas, entry stamps, a company ID, a hotel reservation in Shinjuku. Nothing is overtly wrong, except for one detail: his country of origin, Taurid. You check the database. No matches. No country by that name has ever existed. Not historically, not currently. You press further, and that's when it starts to fracture. He insists Taurid is real, located between France and Spain, a sovereign nation recognized for centuries. He seems genuinely confused when you show him a world map. He points to Andorra, shakes his head, says, "That's not right." His hands tremble slightly. You begin checking global databases. ICAO, IATA, Interpol. No such country. No diplomatic records. No precedents. But his passport contains entry and exit stamps from dozens of locations, most of them real. Some slightly altered. You notice one with a date that hasn't happened yet. And another from a country that ceased to exist in 1946. The ink is fresh. You decide to detain him for further questioning. He remains calm, cooperative, almost too calm, as if this has happened before. He's placed in a secured observation room overnight under guard. By morning, he's gone. No signs of forced exit, no tampering with the door, no record of movement on the cameras. His belongings remain, including the passport. But something's changed. The document no longer says Taurid. The country name is blurred, smudged, like the ink has forgotten what it used to be. You review the video feed. In one frame, just one, there's a flicker. The man looks up at the camera, and for a single second the lights around him dim. Your screen pixelates in a spiral pattern that matches no known video compression format. Then it returns to normal. You never see him again. Weeks later, you dream of him. He's standing in the same arrivals hall, suitcase in hand, repeating the same phrase. "I arrived but not here." Some say he was a hoax, a disturbed traveler, a trick of paperwork and poor translation. But you know what you saw. You held the passport. You remember the weight of it, the texture. And when you check your own documents later that week, your place of birth has changed. Slightly, subtly. The city is spelled differently, and you don't remember it ever being spelled that way before. The Antikythera mechanism, the clock that remembers you. You're deep underground in a climate-controlled vault beneath the National Archaeological Museum of Athens. Around you, fragments of bronze and stone rest in silent display cases. But you've come for one artifact, one that doesn't seem to belong anywhere. Not in time, not in history. The Antikythera mechanism. Discovered in 1901 among the wreckage of a Roman-era shipwreck off the coast of a tiny Greek island. Dated to the 2nd century BCE, but even now no one fully understands what it was meant to do. You've studied it before. The gears, the inscriptions, the planetary alignments. People call it the world's first computer, a celestial calculator. But something's always felt off. Not just because of what it could do, but because of what it knew. There are markings on one of the internal plates only recently revealed by X-ray tomography. Etchings too small to have been engraved by hand. Too precise. And among the data, your team found something that shouldn't be there. A date. A modern one. Today's date. That's why you're here. You've built a 3D replica, a perfect functioning model, based on every scan, every tooth, every ratio. You place it on a granite pedestal, wind it slowly, and release the mechanism. The gears begin to turn, smooth, silent. Then the indicators shift away from planetary motion into something uncharted. The dials stop at a precise coordinate. You check the numbers. It's your location. The mechanism begins to hum soft at first, then rising in pitch. Not mechanical harmonic, almost vocal. You look down. The brass has begun to tarnish in reverse, not aging but unaging. The surface cleans itself. Gears tighten, sharpen, become newer than they were a moment ago. You reach out to stop it. Your fingers brush the outer edge and the room vanishes. You're standing in the middle of the Aegean Sea, but the water is gone. Stone towers rise around you in perfect symmetry, silent and golden, humming like tuning forks. In the center, suspended in the air, is the same device, but whole, untarnished. And behind it, something watching you. Not a person, not quite. A shadow built from angles too perfect to be human. You blink and the vault returns. The mechanism sits still, silent, but the gear alignment has changed. It's no longer pointing to time or place. It's pointing to something else. You search the database. The new alignment forms a geometric shape, one matching a star map found in an untranslatable Babylonian tablet, one that has no record of Earth in its center. Back at your hotel, you dream again. This time, the gears are inside your chest. You can feel them turn. Tick, tick, tick. Some say the Antikythera mechanism was a calendar, a planet tracker, a relic of forgotten genius. But maybe it isn't a machine for measuring time. Maybe it's a key, and time is what it opens. The Oak Island Pit, the hole that doesn't end. You stand at the edge of what looks like nothing, just a muddy depression surrounded by wooden scaffolding and weather-stained machinery. But beneath your feet is one of the most excavated, most theorized, and least understood mysteries in North America, the Oak Island Money Pit. They say it goes down over 100 feet. Some say 200. Others say it has no end at all. Dug in 1795 by a group of boys who found a curious depression in the ground beneath a tree with a pulley, and beneath that a layer of stones, then wood, then clay, then more wood. A pattern that kept repeating, like something or someone wanted it found, but only slowly. You're here with a new device, a seismic pulse scanner designed to map voids underground by sending controlled vibrations through the earth. Previous attempts have failed. The flooding traps the water channels that suddenly appear at precise depths have swallowed every effort. But this time you think you've found something no one else has. You lower the probe. The mud resists sticky and cold. At 90 feet it hesitates, then continues. At 112 feet the machine begins to glitch. You hear a soft thud from below, then another, rhythmic, deliberate, like something knocking back. You freeze. The scanner pings once, twice, then gives you a return. Empty space. A chamber, roughly 17 feet wide, and inside it something solid, irregular, rectangular. You instruct the dig team to stop. You want to lower a camera. They refuse. They've been here too long, seen too many drills jammed, equipment ruined, accidents that never made the official reports. So you do it yourself. You lower a fiber optic cable thin and flexible with a camera no wider than your finger. The feed is grainy, flickering, then clears. You see the chamber. It's real. And in it, a box, made of dark wood bound with corroded iron. But something's wrong. There's a symbol on the lid carved, not painted, not English, not French, older. The pattern matches one found etched into a standing stone in the Canary Islands thousands of miles away, predating known transatlantic contact. The image distorts, then clears again. The box is gone. In its place is something you can't describe, a shape that isn't a shape, a void in the feed. And then just before the screen cuts to static, you see a single eye open in the darkness, watching you, not with malice. With recognition, you yank the cable up. It's wet, but not with water. The liquid clings to the plastic like oil, dark and iridescent. You collect a sample. The chemical analysis reports no organic content, no known element, Just one note in the margin scribbled by a junior technician, "This is not from here." Some say the Oak Island pit was built by pirates. Others say the Freemasons, the Templars, or even the British Crown. But what if it wasn't built to hide treasure? What if it was built to keep something in? Or worse, to mark the place where something came out? And what if digging is what woke it up? Puma Punku, the gate that never opened. You arrive in the Bolivian highlands just before dusk. The air is thin, sharp in your lungs, and the sky hangs low as if pressed down by something ancient. Before you scattered across the plateau lie the shattered remains of Puma Punku, a site the locals revere but refuse to speak about after dark. You walk among the stones, not random debris, not erosion. These are precision-cut blocks of diorite, some weighing over 100 tons, with angles so sharp and corners so precise, they look as if they were machined, not carved. Some interlock like puzzle pieces. Others sit displaced like they were thrown by a force far greater than gravity. You came here not as a tourist, but as part of a material analysis team studying unexplained tool marks. But when your team packed up and left 2 days ago, you stayed. There was something in the data that didn't make sense. Microscopic striations on the inner walls of the H-shaped stones that show no evidence of tool impact, no chisels, no abrasion, just displacement, as if the stone had melted into shape. You run your fingers along the edge of one massive block. It's cold, unnaturally cold despite the heat of the day. You kneel, place your ear against it. At first silence, then a tone so low it's more vibration than sound. It pulses rhythmically like a heartbeat, but the pattern doesn't match any natural frequency. It's binary. You record it, run it through a translator app, just static. But when you reverse the waveform, something emerges. A voice. Not human, not mechanical, but structured. One word. Return. You step back shaken. The sun is setting fast now. The temperature drops sharply. You see your breath. Then from the far end of the site, a light flickers behind the largest of the remaining walls, a monolithic structure some call the portal. Locals say it leads nowhere, but tonight something behind it glows faint, steady. You approach slowly. The light dims as you near, then vanishes. You shine your flashlight through the opening. You see a reflection, yourself, but not quite. Same face, different eyes, and then it blinks before you do. You stumble back. The flashlight cuts out. The ground under you vibrates softly, like a machine warming up. You hear stone grinding far beneath your feet, not shifting naturally, but moving with intent. Then silence. When you return in the morning, everything is normal, except for the data. Your recording is gone, but there's a new file on your laptop, time-stamped at 3:33 a.m. Just audio. You play it, it's the voice again. Slower, deeper, gate-aligned, initiate passage. Some say Puma Punku was a ceremonial site. Others claim it was built by a civilization far older than the Inca, one lost entirely to time. But what if it wasn't a ruin? What if it was never finished? Or worse, what if it's waiting for someone to finish it? And what if that someone is you? Tutankhamun's curse. The breath that followed you. You're standing at the threshold of the boy king's tomb nearly 100 years after it was opened. The air is stale, almost sweet, laced with the faintest trace of rot and resin. Beneath your boots, the floor slopes slightly downward into silence. The Valley of the King stretches behind you, scorched and still. But in here underground, time doesn't behave the way it should. You were granted rare access to the innermost chamber, not for tourism, but for preservation. A scan last month detected unusual energy spikes near the outer sarcophagus. They said it was likely environmental, but you've seen the pattern before. It's not geological. It pulses in intervals that mimic a resting heart. You step further inside. The walls glow faintly under your headlamp, deep ochre and faded lapis. Images of Anubis Osiris, the weighing of the heart. You know the story. Everyone does. The tomb was opened in 1922. Within a decade, over a dozen people associated with the excavation were dead. Strange illnesses, sudden accidents, internal bleeding, insect bites that never healed. Newspapers called it a curse. Scientists called it coincidence. But here's the part no one talks about. The first person to enter the burial chamber, Howard Carter wrote in a private letter, never published, that he heard breathing from inside the sealed stone coffin. Rhythmic, slow, as if someone had just stopped. Now, nearly a century later, you place your hand on the lid of that same coffin. It's warm. You whisper into the stillness a simple note into your audio recorder just to document the moment. But the device cuts out, not static, just nothing. The red light stays on. The tape keeps rolling, but no sound is captured. You hear a faint exhale, not from behind you, not from within, but inside your head. You turn sharply. No one's there. You try to speak, but something presses down on your chest. Then the lights go out. Total darkness. Your breath is the only sound you can trust, until it isn't. From the far corner of the room, a low voice speaks, not aloud, but from somewhere inside the stone itself. It doesn't shout. It doesn't plead. It warns. Do not name the dead. The lights flicker back. You're alone. Everything is as it was. Except now your recorder shows a new file. It's dated 7 days in the future. You press play. At first static, then your voice. Panicked. Whispering the same phrase over and over. He's not gone. You leave the tomb. The desert sun is blinding. But when you close your eyes, you still see the chamber, still feel the warmth of the stone. That night you dream of gold, walls of it, infinite. But behind the gold, something watches, eyes like obsidian, unmoving. Some say the curse was myth, airborne mold, coincidence wrapped in colonial guilt. But what if it wasn't a curse? What if it was a warning? And what if opening the tomb didn't release anything, but simply woke it up? The grand void, the room no one entered. You stand inside the Great Pyramid of Giza, surrounded by 6 million tons of stone. The air is still stale, ancient. Around you, the familiar layout, the king's chamber above the queen's chamber, below the grand gallery, stretching like the spine of something sleeping. But today you're not here to observe the known. You're here to investigate the unknown, a vast unexplained void detected in 2017 by a team using Muon imaging technology. A chamber nearly 100 feet long, sitting silently above the grand gallery. No one has ever entered it. No corridors lead in. No physical opening connects it to anything we can touch. Until now. You've been granted access to a new insertion corridor carefully bored into the pyramid's structure using vibration-free drilling. It's narrow, cramped. As you move forward, the temperature drops slightly. Your body tenses, not from claustrophobia, but from something else, something deeper, like your cells remember something your mind has never known. At the end of the tunnel is a thin partition of stone behind it, the void. You place your palm against the slab. It hums faintly like it's responding to your presence. You feel the air tighten, the hairs on your neck lift. Then the wall gives way. Not violently, it just opens. You step inside. There's no light source, but the space is softly illuminated. No torches, no sconces, just an ambient glow that has no origin. The walls are smooth, not rough-hewn like the rest of the pyramid, but perfectly flat, seamless, like the interior of a machine, not a tomb. And the silence total. You speak softly just to hear your voice. Nothing answers, no echo, no sound, as if the room absorbs it. You walk forward. There are no hieroglyphs, no carvings, no symbols, just one raised platform at the center. On it, a slab of black stone perfectly square. You reach out. Your hand trembles. Just before you make contact, you hear something behind you. Footsteps. You turn. No one. But the glow dims. The silence deepens. You try to leave, but the entrance is gone. No doorway, no tunnel, just seamless walls. You call out, but again no echo. Your voice vanishes the moment it leaves your lips. You step back to the center, and the slab is no longer empty. Something is resting on it now, something that looks exactly like your own notebook. You pick it up. Inside notes you haven't written yet. Diagrams, coordinates, a phrase written over and over again in your handwriting. I was already here. Your watch has stopped. Your comms are dead. But one device still functions, your bioscanner. It shows something strange. 2 heartbeats, one yours. The other slightly out of sync, slightly behind. You press your hand to the wall again. It's warm, pulsing, like it's breathing. And then for the first time, the silence speaks. We remember. Some say the Grand Void is a structural cavity, an accident of ancient architecture. But you know better. You were the first to enter, and maybe the last to leave. Or maybe you never did. You've made it back, or at least you think you have. You can still feel your feet on solid ground, your breath in your lungs, the weight of the ordinary world settling quietly back into place. But something's changed. You see it in the corners of your vision, flickers of movement that vanish when you turn your head. You hear it in silence, a low vibration, familiar now, like something waiting just beneath the noise. You carry it with you. Every sight you entered, every voice you heard, every shadow that looked a little too much like your own, they didn't stay behind. They followed. You went looking for answers, and instead you found the edge, the threshold, the outline of a truth older than history and louder than time. You weren't supposed to see these things. You weren't supposed to feel them. But now you do. And the worst part, they know you do. You'll try to forget. You'll try to explain it away. But late at night, when the hum begins, when the air gets too still, when your reflection lingers too long, you'll remember. And if someday you find a symbol carved into a place it shouldn't be, or a voice that speaks in a language you don't know but understand, ask yourself, will you follow it again, or has it already followed you?